Good morning everyone, my name is Christian from Two-Headed Wolf Gaming and welcome to our 4th campaign report from the Total War Thrones of Britannia series, and this time is all about Gwined. When I picked the faction of Gwined to play, I only had one goal for the campaign, basically to have as many battles as I could and have amazing battles at that. They promised that we would have great generals and the famous longbowmen, which we know. We've met them in past campaigns and they're really troublesome. And they didn't disappoint, but I will get into it a tiny bit later. For the moment I just want to go over a few of the achievements that we managed to receive, which is There and Back Again and Here Be Dragons for the short and long conquest victory, By Hook or by Crook for any kind of victory condition, Small but Mighty and King of the Britons for the short and long kingdom victory, and A Gwinner is You to conquer all Welsh regions. Of course, the puns in the achievements are all there. I want to focus for a second on the short and long kingdom victory, because these are the ones that focus on your faction as a whole and provide you more bonuses as you grow. Gwynedd becomes Simru becomes Pridin, and we start with the following bonuses. An increased bonus from followers on our general unit, 50% extra charge for the cavalry units, and plus 5 unit morale in our own regions. Let us talk about the general, because I feel like this one is pretty important. Usually, when you level up a general, you get a point to put into your followers. And for most other factions, what you get is a pretty normal bonus of maybe plus 1 to the stat of command, governing, and zeal, or some like 5% extra movement and a few other bonuses at that. But when you play as Gwynedd, those bonuses are doubled, so you get plus 2 to command, zeal, or governance, or plus 10 to movement on the map. So all of these added together make for really strong generals, especially in the early game, and especially for new generals. They can become strong quite quickly, and that is a huge bonus to have. We'll talk more about it later though, when we talk about the military side of things. And then we get, with the next level of the factions, the usual plus 2 to public order, plus 2 to influence, plus 10 to unit morale, and plus 25% income from all sources. Which brings us to the next level of achievements, which I am more proud of than anything else. We achieved the ultimate victory, but a swift struggle, go the distance, and uphill struggle is the achievements for short, long, and ultimate victories on very hard. And it's the first time I've done this in Total War Thrones of Britannia, and I'm pretty proud of it. It really gives me that courage to push for a legendary campaign sometime in the future. So we'll do that. And finally, a land fit for heroes, playing as any of the Welsh kingdoms, complete the main campaign while keeping heroism over 20 and never falling beneath 20. That is a good achievement as well. We've done quite well, all things considered. And it means that we kept a strong force, we pushed against our enemies until the end of the game. So that is on the achievement side of things. Let's talk about military now. Here in this section we have to talk about the generals first of all. I find that the Gwynedd generals are the best, at least so far, from the entire game. Not the toughest, not the strongest. You have to give credit probably to those melee units, especially in the Viking side, but they're definitely the most flexible and the ones that can do the most roles the quickest. Why is that? Well, as I mentioned earlier, when you look at their generals, you have all of these points. Like, they can become really tough really quickly, and they can become great governors as well. Everything here adds up to legendary hero status. But more than that, this unit is absolutely great. This cavalry, the general's bodyguards, are absolutely essential in the early game. They act as a good cavalry unit that you can push against your enemies and break them. And even in the late game, they are still one of the toughest troops that you will ever have in your army. Why is that? Well, except for the part where they are the general's bodyguards, the best of the best. They're a type of unit that protects your general, and thus for all factions they will be one of the greatest units, okay? We'll leave that aside. But besides the fact that they're a general cavalry unit, they have standard shot, which is a javelin throw. They have like 3 or 4 rounds of javelins, I believe, which is a great way to throw it at your enemies before you charge at them. Very good offensively, definitely good defensively, at least for a little while. It's a way to ensure that even the toughest of troops will feel the pain. And with that in mind, let's talk about the fact that they're a cavalry unit. Well, to start us off, we have Gwined's basic bonuses. 50% extra charge for cavalry units. Right? So we start with 50% extra charge. Perfect for cavalry. Then, if you have heroism, the size of your general's bodyguard and their melee skills goes up from the neutral level, right? You don't want to be in the negative, but from the neutral level onward, we start with 20% bodyguard size for the commander's unit and +3 to melee skill for the commander's unit. And at the final level here, you can see the bonuses going up to 100% to the bodyguard size of the commander's unit and 15 melee skill for the commander's unit. So we get another set of bonuses. But wait, you're not done yet. What you can do, you can invest points into champion and you'll get +10 melee skill for the commander's unit. And if you keep going forward, till the end you get 15% extra armor, 15 charge bonus for the commander's unit and +20 to melee skill for the commander's unit. Not done yet. Command is separate from the champion itself. So if you keep increasing command, you can see that you're getting even more bodyguard size. So you'll get at the final level 100% to the bodyguard size for the commander's unit, and that's besides heroism. So you're getting 200% increase in the number of troops in your general's bodyguard. Do you think I'm done? I'm not done. If you go into the research tree and you start researching the bodyguard and companions, you get 20 morale for the commander's unit, 50% shield for the commander's unit, 10 melee skill for the commander's unit, and finally you can replace the Teulu to Royal Teulu, thus making them even stronger. So you can see how many ways you have in which you can improve your general to become an absolute beast on the battlefield and really take on through. You might not want to charge units directly in front of them, but using different opportunities to go from the side, throw a few javelins, get out, come back for another charge later on. Like, you can do this back and forth and you'll definitely break most of the units that would be very difficult to take on by your normal infantry. And now let's talk about army composition. When it comes to army composition, I have to be honest, I am pretty boring. I usually keep the same type of formations, not always playing to the strengths of the faction, more to what I feel more comfortable with as the playstyle or as the moment the situation arises. Generally I keep the same amount, the same ratio of range units with melee troops, with cavalry. Going forward, I think this might change, or I'm going to work hard at changing this, and it happened because I had a conversation with some of you guys, the people who really enjoy this game and give me ideas as I play along. So I was having a discussion to one of the subscribers with TP, and he gave me this amazing idea of what he likes to do, and you'll see it now on the screen. It's a custom battle I did because I didn't have a chance to put it to a true test during the campaign. He says that he's bringing like 4 spears, 6 longbowmen for Gwined, and then he has like 4 or 6 swordsmen, and the rest are cavalry. And the way this works is like you can split this up into 2 groups. You have the spears protecting the longbowmen. The spears for Gwynedd, especially at higher levels, they're really tough. They can hold the line against anything and they won't break. They are disciplined. They also having courage, so they'll stay in the battle for a very long time. Then you have your longbowmen, which absolutely shreds any type of unit, especially those who are foolish enough not to bring a shield on the battlefield. So you use them to melt down their toughest troops before they get to your spears. And then you have your swords as a support against the enemy's tougher troops, maybe the swordsman, maybe the axeman, the Viking ones especially. So you have all this ability to hold the line, destroy all the enemies from a distance, and then charge with your swordsman up close. Finally, using your cavalry to do a quick hammer and anvil or go after his ranged units, you can see how many ways you can use this formation in. You can either split it up into 2 groups, hold the line on one side. If the enemy does not split his troops and goes with his entire army after one of them, which might be actually a pretty good idea, you get the opportunity to come with your other half of the troops and just charge in their back or shoot in their exposed backs or things like that. I find this army combination to be one of the best I ever heard of, and I have to say a big thank you to TV for giving me the idea. It's what I always wanted when I started this YouTube channel, to have a chance to interact with the community, to learn more and get better at these games. So really appreciate all the interactions that we had. I'm gonna stop here. I can talk a lot more about these armies, but I'll let you experiment it yourself or watch the campaign and figure things out. Maybe you'll find some new ideas for yourself as well. And let's move on to another important subject. Economy has always been an important part of any Total War games. At the end of the day, it's through gold that you get to recruit your troops and have multiple armies on the map that you can use to form your kingdom or your empire. In the latest titles, they've added food as well as an extra layer of tactic that you can use in order to weaken your enemies by starving them out and creating public order problems. It is for this reason that economy is such a big subject of discussion in the Total War community, and also a big subject of the debate, but it is quite fun to experience it and try things out, which is one of the reasons why we've done a mid-campaign where we try to make a church-based economy work. And so one of the ideas that stayed with me during this campaign is one discussion I had with one of the subscribers, with Igor at some point, who said that because I'm not keeping to the theme of some of these towns, like for example which is a commercial town, that I am suffering and I am creating problems for myself in the long run, losing gold. And I went with the counter argument that he would be right if I would have gone and researched, for example, trade, which would have unlocked 2 commercial buildings plus this extra 15% extra income from commerce. But I went a totally different route. I invested in industry and I gained this 15% extra income from the industry in all regions, which is why I focused so heavily on industry in this town. But the idea kept to my mind that, well, what if he's right? Let's assume at this point that he might be right and test it out. Can I create? I'm not gonna debate on the fact that if I'd researched the trade technology, right? I know that that is true. But what if I focused on industry and still tried to stay true to the theme? In the end, what could I change here to make a commercial town? Well, if I'm taking a look at the regions, this one is the richest that we have right now, Quiz. We're a few turns in, I've pissed all the other factions out, and I stopped all the buildings from the surrounding areas. The point is, during the following turns while we make changes here, I didn't want any kind of special influence from the area. We'll leave things as they are. I decided that this will be a more industrial town, I kept the industrial building in, so we're gonna try to work just on one town. It's not a perfect experiment, but we're gonna do it. If I take a look at the governor, there are two bonuses from the start that I feel work for going commercial. The first ones, like this governor is pretty old, he won't be gaining any new traits, either in regards to industry, neither in regards to commercial. He has Epicurean, income for all, and he has a level 5 scribe which provides 28% income from all sources. But going from governor level 9 to level 10 gives you an extra 25% income from commerce in the governed province. This is besides this. So this is one plus for the commercial. The second one is the Great Market, which provides 25% extra income from commerce. So how would I go about transforming this village? First of all, I'll start here. We'll go from the lumber trader, it produces us about 1100 per turn, and I'm going to transform it into a master carpenter. This opens doors to having income from commerce. And what you see now, the 511 from industry and 130 from commerce, is actually just a base number before being increased by the cloth maker bonuses or any other buildings in the area. So I'm gonna go with the carpenter. Given that we're getting public order from the master carpenter at this point, means that I could go ahead and destroy this cathedral, losing some of the church income from these two buildings, but I think we're also losing on the maintenance of 300 gold, and there's another building that I want to put in. I need one more slot for the building that I want to throw in here. And for that I need to pick one of these to demolish. These two buildings right here, you can see, like we went industrial, right? These two buildings provide bonuses for iron, wood and lead, which we have all three, and this one to iron and wood. So once again, two of these three, meaning that this will get 120% extra income just from these two, so we don't want to replace them. Master Jewelers gives us extra income from lead and the 60% extra income from commerce, so I want to keep this building in as well. This one, however, the Master Crafts Merchant, gives us 60% extra income from industry, and I don't want that anymore. It also gives us 100% extra income from the cloth maker, but we can demolish that because we're producing 1300 right now, but that includes all the bonuses, meaning 365%. That means that here we're gonna lose about 300 income. The rest is given by the nearby areas. So I am going to be demolishing this building, and finally I am going to change the Grand Abbey into a Grand Abbey Market. This will provide us with 25% extra income from commerce. It's a great building to have no matter the type of town that you want to go through, but this is going to be all the changes that we're making for now. I'll see you in a few turns when these buildings are demolished, just to see what I'm about to construct. Here we are, buildings demolished. We've lost about 1200 gold per turn, and I am going to throw in the two buildings that we still have available even without researching the commerce. You can see that these ones would produce the most gold in our situation, but we don't have them. So I'm gonna throw in the mint, that's 75% extra income from commerce. We're not gonna throw in any trade or trade goods in the calculations. That would be a bit too hard to calculate at this point, and I'm gonna focus maybe in a future campaign. In the second slot, I'm gonna throw in the merchant with 70 income, base income from commerce. This will definitely be a whole lot better when it's going to get influenced by these buildings and by the current surrounding areas. For the cloth maker, you can see that yes, we have lost about 300 income per turn. Let's see what will happen in a few turns after we've upgraded these buildings. Time for the moment of truth. Are we producing more gold or not? And the answer to that question is yes. We are producing more gold per turn by having these two buildings which produce us flat income. This is going pretty well. As far as Master Carpenter goes, if we put the two sums together, it's about 1100, which is not a huge difference than what we had before. But this building is necessary if we've demolished the other church or converted the Grand Abbey, because now we're at only 2 public order. So, was Igor right? I have to say that, as far as I'm feeling it, he is. He was right in the idea that I should keep to the theme of the town. Does it apply all the time? And the answer to that is no. It really depends on your situation. At this point we're still quite late in the game, but when you're in your early game, you have to think that you want to invest in industry as long as you can balance out the public order. That is the way you get the most money. From mid to late game, you should start rethinking and refocusing on commerce, because commerce is really strong, and when you get the bonuses from your governors, when you can make all of these combos, there are plenty more buildings that produce combos with commerce in the region than there are with industries. So you want to focus on commerce as much as you can. And it's definitely, if you can spend some time to research some commerce, some trade, then you'll definitely have some really strong towns. And I'm gonna post a picture from one of our past campaigns with one of their cities producing 1100 per turn. No, 11,000 per turn. And that is amazing. But it made me learn, it really opened my mind, the discussions that I've had, it opened my mind to the possibilities of constructing these towns in such a way where they work better together. But maybe it will require more work, or maybe it will require us to pay more attention to the themes of the town and what are they influenced by. At the end of the day, this is not a perfect experiment. Take it with a pinch of salt whether this experiment was actually right. I would have to demolish all these areas and still the test wouldn't be perfect to fully conclude whether it is better to do it like this or like I had it before, or go fully on the commerce side. I have to say a big thank you to your comments, because this is the way that we learn and try things out and grow. I have to say it has been really fun to play as Gwined. I think what I liked the most about this campaign was the increased interaction that I had with you guys. It gave me plenty of ideas to go forward and try out, and I'm really looking forward to that. We're gonna take a quick break from Thrones of Britannia, and I'm gonna bring a campaign in Total War Attila with the 1212 AD mod. It looks pretty amazing. So I want to show it to you guys and see what you think, see if you want to see more of that game going into the future. But we're coming back to Thrones of Britannia, so what are we going to do after that? Well, my next target? Dyflin was a major port town on the east coast of Ireland and the site of Britannia's largest slave market. It was a major site of Viking occupation and was ruled until 1873 by the Viking lord Imar, often associated with Ivar the Boneless, a son of the legendary Viking warlord Ragnar Lothbrok. Viking raiders had wintered there as early as 8040 AD, so their association with the region had been a long one, and over time their customs began to take on a more Gaelic flavor as the slow process of integration took its course. By 78 AD, however, Imar's son Badr was firmly established on the throne. Would this ambitious Viking ruler seek to seal a lasting peace with the surrounding Gallic faction, or return to the ways of Ragnar and pursue a path of bloodshed and domination? It is hard to ignore the calling of one's warrior blood. This campaign is going to be a mix between military, economy, where we're trying to make our slave trade, and also our port economy work, trying to throw in some of those buildings that we've seen throughout campaigns that are useless. And finally, by exploring Ireland, I want to go back to checking out the monuments that we can see on the map and try to find out what they are. And in closing, I want to say something that I always say at the end, and I really mean it, because since I started doing this, the channel has grown slowly and I've got to meet more and more of you guys. And I have to say a big thank you for all the support and all the feedback that you have provided me with. It's really making the way I play these games a lot better. I'm enjoying it so much more than I did before. I look forward to seeing you again in our next campaign. My name is Christian, this is Two-Headed Wolf Gaming, and I wish you all a wonderful day.